all the epic geek battles of history. Marvel vs. DC doesn't count, of course, because DC sucks ass. Oh no, DC's got Batman! Oh yeah. Of all those battles, the one that has interested us the most at Random Bits of Geek is, of course, Star Wars
versus Star Trek.
Get out a shot! Now, while we really, truly love both series,
Huh?
Since there's more and more awesome Star Trek series and independent projects and hopefully some good Abrams movies on the way, and we're gonna get Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens! And that's coming in December. So, we're gonna have it out once and for all right here. So I, your most awesome host, Patrick Murray, along with Lars here, are gonna have it out. We're going to talk Star Wars versus Star Trek, and we're going to find that it is going to be an awesome and epic battle. Right here on Random Bits of Geek! Wait.
First of all, my universe is the most awesomest because it is the idealistic utopian future for all of humanity as we know ourselves today. Whereas Star Wars is just some cheesy space opera set in some ambiguous time in the future that was a long time ago. Like, can you be any more confusing? Seriously. At least we can count in real years where we are in Star Trek from today. Can you do it in Star Wars? No!
Yeah, let's talk about that half-assed utopian future that seems to have 3 or 4 different timelines that don't make any damn sense. I mean, seriously, we have the Prime Universe, we have the Mirror Universe, we got the Abrams verse, one of your favorites, I'm sure. And everything just seems to be this jumble of, let's stick this on here, let's add this. Oh, we're going to retcon this in because we want to add this series, and everything's kind of twisted ass backwards in this universe of whatever. And all the aliens are the same humanoids, so it's yay.
True, but seriously, I mean, it's easier for everything to be relatively androgynous so that it's easier so that when we're telling stories, we can make people look like humanoids to be able to talk to each other, not something that's, eyes are in its feet and its nose is in its ass. And, I mean, seriously, have you seen Chewbacca? Seriously.
You mean other than the serious need to get a haircut? Come on. Now we're just splitting hairs. Lots and lots of Wookiee hairs. Because Wookiee hair, awesome. And when you get into a completely creative universe, you can do whatever you want rather than trying to fit it into history and getting it wrong because weren't we supposed to have some Clone War? No, that's the wrong series. That's my series! Weren't we supposed to have some eugenics wars or World War III by now? Oh, we didn't have that because Gene was wrong.
Seriously? You're basing your point on the fact that events in history that were predicted 40 years ago, nearly 50 years ago, didn't happen yet. Hello, nothing in Star Wars has happened at all. I don't know about you, but when's the last time that we saw a TIE fighter? Really? Seriously. I can tell you the last time I saw a communicator, that's right, my goddamn smartphone.
Last time I saw a TIE fighter was probably, in the Star Trek universe, was probably, a Vietnam-era movie or something. Oh, wait. Creative freedom, rather than trying to fit the thing. That's what makes Star Wars better than, here, we're flying through this ship, it's slow and boring. One of the biggest things about Star Wars is how we're delved into the journey of characters. Rather than a bunch of dorks kind of being all peaceful and coexistence-y and flying across space and then finding some alien that wants to kill them. We got good guys and bad guys and all these people trying to explore and discover themselves. We got a farm boy going off to fight the Empire and becoming the greatest Jedi ever because all the other ones are dead. And that, an epic, universal journey, rather than dork spouting technobabble.
So what you're saying is these characters in Star Trek that are pretty cool take technology and put a little bit of a spin on it because we haven't quite figured it all out yet is retarded? Seriously. I mean, come on. At least some of our technology that we have today in the 21st century is inspired directly by what was predicted in the 20th century, and we have this technology now. So when you talk about characters, okay, we're talking about the difference between Jar Jar Binks and William Shatner. Wait a minute, hang on. William Shatner's a character? Oh, that's right, he is. Captain Kirk is his alter ego. I think Kirk is the actor. But anyways, at least there is a grounding of humanity. These characters might be somewhat sensationalized, but at least we can identify with them. We're talking about characters that are always immediately relatable.
But you have to admit that when Captain Kirk gets talking and does Shatner Kirk, it's out of control and makes no freaking sense. Seriously. This is what makes Star Trek a nightmare. True, Jar Jar is a disaster of biblical proportions, and his death could never have come too soon and never came, and we're sad for that. But he got one movie, and then they pretty much he showed up in the second one just because he had to, and they pretty much ignored him. And the third movie, one scene, and he didn't say anything. Let's see here. Shatner, 3 seasons, 7 movies, including Generations, because no, we can't let Captain Picard have all of everything. We gotta shove Kirk in for one more time. And then, of course, they dubbed it down even more by letting Chris Pine be Kirk. Seriously. If you're going to try to prop up Shatner and Kirk and all that, you're sad because they're pitiful. And 2-minute often, especially in the early series, they're pretty much one run-on type of character. Hey, there's our one token character. Star Wars is diversity beyond diversity. And not just human characters and that one pointy-eared sumbitch.
Okay, alright, so yes, William Shatner is known for his overacting because he was Captain Kirk, you see. But that's not everything about Star Trek and its characters. Star Trek characters, regardless of whether they are human or alien, they are always immediately relatable. Now you take, for instance, in Star Wars, you have Han Solo. This guy, while I'm not going to bag him directly, too bad, this is the guy who didn't believe in hokey religions, and he just watched this stuff go down. He watched people perform unbelievable acts with a laser sword. And he's like, I don't believe in hokey religions. Dude, Obi-Wan should have walked up and went, BAM! Yeah, suck it. I like to think that the physics of Star Trek are a little bit closer to what we have now. If you look at how things are, the mechanics of space exploration and how starships operate, for some degree to whatever, they at least follow basic physics. Now, yes, they do fudge things, okay? You have to. It's science fiction, okay? A lot of this stuff we don't even know yet. We're just figuring out things now that we thought 100 years ago were rock solid, okay? So what? You know, one thing that I can honestly tell you that is pretty cool is the fact that, well, at least, you know, there are no aerodynamics in space, and Star Trek's pretty good about keeping to that. I'd like to see Star Wars answer that one.
Okay, first of all, with the aerodynamics, obviously, if you haven't looked at the Star Wars ships, those aren't aerodynamic ships. I mean, the Star Destroyers are wedgy looking, but they got this big thing on top. The ships are their own design, just like in Star Trek, they get weirder and weirder and weirder the farther you get away from the main ships. But physics was never something that was important in Star Wars. It was about telling the story. And to be honest, real-world physics kind of takes away from trying to get something over the top. When physics are critical, like Episode 5, when Luke's falling down to Cloud City, their physics come into play. But when you're doing leaps with the Force, do you really need physics? When you're exploring things, do you really need physics? Not really. And Star Trek, for its attempts to be honest to physics as reasonably as storytelling will allow, that kind of got thrown in the shitter when Abrams got hold. Let's be honest there. Did you watch Star Trek Into Bullshit?
It's Star Trek Into Darkness, okay? And yes, it was stupid. The physics were Star Wars stupid, okay? And there's a reason why they were Star Wars stupid. It's because they were taking from Star Wars. They were trying to make this action movie, this Star Trek action movie, where everything was woo-wee, everything's woo. No. Okay? Look at the original series. Look at the movies. Even look at the TNG movies. They follow things pretty well, and they tell a great story and keeping physics relatively real. We don't need no fancy whatevers, TIE fighters with straight up and down fins that somehow can turn on an axis like this. Whee! No. Just no.
Okay, so now you're saying that Star Wars, which is specifically has no real physics, should now act laws of physics, when Star Trek, depending on the situation, either has physics natural or goes completely off the radar. Really, that's the best you can do. We go first with Star Trek: The Motionless Picture. 2 hours of them going, and it doesn't make any sense. It was them trying to duplicate Star Wars again. Actually, no, that's the first time they tried to duplicate Star Wars. The last one was Star Trek Into Bullshit! Because it is! Bullshit!
I got nothing.
Woohoo! In 1977, one of the greatest movies ever made came out and wowed our asses off. I didn't see it for years afterwards, but it was still one of my favorite movies, even though I hadn't seen it. And then 2 sequels later, the greatest trilogy ever created is in the can, and that was awesome. We then followed up with 3 prequels that were okay, almost back to tolerable. We got animated series Star Wars The Clone Wars, which if you have not seen it, 5.5 seasons roughly on Netflix. A must-watch for anybody who wants the prequel movies to suck less. And Star Wars Rebels, which I'll admit to not having seen because that required me to have cable and money and things like that. There's a solid and beautiful body of work that all ties in, and with the exception of the prequel sucking, is not overly convoluted and impossible to decipher without an entire wiki.
Okay, so let's talk about movies to start with, okay? Since we started on movies, and that's pretty much what Star Wars has its basis in, let's talk about Star Trek movies. Okay, there were at least 4 good Star Trek movies out of the 12 that came out. Star Trek 2, Star Trek 4, Star Trek 6, and actually Star Trek 8, which is First Contact. Now, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, and of course 11, 12. What the? So, those came pretty much as a basis from the TV series. We had the original Star Trek series, which had 3 great seasons. Okay, 1 great season, and a handful of good episodes after that. Then we had the first spinoff, Star Trek The Next Generation, which went for 7 seasons. We had Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which went for 7 seasons. We had Star Trek Voyager, which went for 7 seasons. And then we had Enterprise, which went for 4 seasons. But that was because season 3 was just rubbish. What does Star Wars have to show for it? Well, seriously, we're hoping episode 7 isn't a complete fustercluck. Well, we don't know. I mean, seriously, after watching Star Trek and Star Trek Into Bullshit, the Darkness, whatever, you're right. We're a little bit gun-shy with J.J. Abrams, okay? But I like to think that, at least as a whole, Star Trek has a better and more consistently good body to enjoy.
Okay, wait a minute. 4 out of 12, let's see here, that's 1/3 of them are good. At least half of the Star Wars movies are definitely good, and like I said, obviously the prequels, you're 2 chunks, so we're 50-50 there. TV series is 2 good animated series versus some mixed of the original series, and TNG's first season was crap, mostly, but had some good stuff, and got better. And DS9 floundered for a few years till it got better. And Voyager's okay, and yeah, Enterprise season 3 was my ass. When it comes to fan fiction and fan-made stuff, Star Wars, easily, on top. You have, starting with the original fan film Troops, and going on from there, you have the Star Wars universe in just so much fun. Literally anybody at this point can take sticks, make lightsabers, and make a freaking movie. It's so easy and so fun and so good. I think Lars can even attest to this. He has a plug-in that all he has to do is plug it in and boom, lightsabers!
Seriously, you want to end this particular end of the argument on fan series? Well, look, okay. While I'm not going to argue that the Star Trek fan productions are better than Star Wars, because, quite frankly, I like them both.
Renegades!
Shut up! There are a lot of really passionate people that put a lot of time and effort into these things, and there are some amazing fan-made productions, Axanar, that have come out of Star Trek. Now, shut up! So, we have a lot of great people working on different productions. We have more than just great people working on productions. We have great people working together on productions. There are a number of fan-made series. Star Trek Continues, Star Trek Phase 2 or / New Voyages. There are a number of, I guess, ancillary or secondary productions that come alongside those, because not only are these really good productions being done in these facilities that are really good mock-ups of the originals, but you have other productions using the same space so that you have great consistency. You have people who are passionate about Star Trek not only developing story ideas and working together as a team, you have people from different productions coming together and helping each other create new stuff. I swear to God, if you mention Renegades one more time, I'm going to beat the living crap out of you.
Renegades!
That's it. I told him. I warned him.
Okay, so what have we learned? Obviously, we're not going to agree on this one. You Kirk Loving Spocksucker.
You know I got nothing on that one, but
Amen to that.
The thing is that despite the fact that we don't necessarily agree on which one is better, we do agree that both of them are pretty freaking amazing.
So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to fight.
Oh yeah.
Let's fight.
Let's fight.
See, I got the shirt and I got the lights thing. You got a freaking cardboard taped to a stick. Ah! Okay, so we are rolling. This is Random Bits of Geek. Lars is a douchebag. And this is going to be...
Yes, like my Star Trek shirt.
And this is going to be the main part of Random Bits of Geek.
Random Bits of Geek.
Random
Bits of Geek.
Random Bits.
Random Bits of Geek.
Random Bits of Dick. Okay. So whenever... I got alarm motion, otherwise I look hearted.
You look like you're trying to fly. I just flew in for this episode, and boy, are
my arm's tired. You. Okay. We're gonna get hold on. Force wait. We're gonna get episode. I can't talk. We're gonna get episode 7 We're going to get Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.